Good morning. Thank you for coming in today. I'm Sarah Thompson, the lead data science manager at Tech Innovate Analytics. Would you please introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your background?
Good morning, Ms. Thompson. I'm Alex Rodriguez, a data scientist with 5 years of experience in machine learning and statistical analysis. I recently completed my master's in data science from Stanford University and have worked on several impactful projects in predictive analytics and natural language processing.
Good morning. Thank you for coming in today. I'm Sarah Thompson, the lead data science manager at Tech Innovate Analytics. Would you please introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your background? Could you describe a challenging data science project you've worked on and how you overcame significant obstacles?
Certainly. At my previous role with Data Solutions Inc., I led a customer churn prediction project for a telecommunications company. The initial challenge was the imbalanced dataset, where churned customers represented only 10% of the data. I implemented a combination of SMUT, synthetic minority oversampling technique, and ensemble methods, specifically using a blend of random forest and gradient boosting classifiers. By carefully tuning the model and using cross-validation, we improved the predictive accuracy from 65% to 85%, which directly translated to substantial cost savings for the client.
Could you describe a challenging data science project you've worked on and how you overcame significant obstacles? Tell me about a time when you had to communicate complex technical findings to non-technical stakeholders.
In my last project, I was analyzing customer segmentation for a retail client. Instead of presenting complex statistical models, I created an interactive dashboard with clear visualizations. I used color-coded charts and simplified explanations, focusing on actionable insights like potential revenue increase and customer targeting strategies. I broke down the machine learning clustering approach into simple metaphors, comparing it to sorting customers into different shopping preference groups.
Tell me about a time when you had to communicate complex technical findings to non-technical stakeholders. Let's discuss machine learning models. Can you explain the difference between linear regression and logistic regression?
Linear regression is used for predicting continuous numerical values, such as sales revenue, based on input features. It assumes a linear relationship between variables. Logistic regression, on the other hand, is used for binary classification problems, like determining whether a customer will churn. It estimates the probability that a given input belongs to a particular class using the sigmoid function.
Let's discuss machine learning models. Can you explain the difference between linear regression and logistic regression? How do you stay current with emerging trends and technologies in data science?
I'm committed to continuous learning. I regularly participate in online courses through platforms like Coursera and attend data science conferences. I'm an active member of several professional networks, including the Data Science Association, and I contribute to open source projects on GitHub. Recently, I've been exploring advanced techniques in transformers and large language models.
How do you stay current with emerging trends and technologies in data science? Could you explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning and provide a practical example of each?
Certainly. Supervised learning involves training a model using labeled data where both input features and corresponding target variables are known. A classic example is predicting house prices based on features like square footage, number of rooms, and location. The model learns from historical data where prices are already known. Unsupervised learning, conversely, works with unlabeled data to discover hidden patterns or structures. A prime example is customer segmentation, where we use clustering algorithms like k-means to group customers with similar characteristics without predefined labels.
Could you explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning and provide a practical example of each? Walk me through how you would approach a classification problem with an imbalanced dataset.
To handle a classification problem with an imbalanced dataset, I would start by exploring the data to understand the extent of the imbalance. Next, I'd apply resampling techniques like oversampling the minority class with SMOT, undersampling the majority class, or combining both using SMO10. I'd choose algorithms that handle imbalance well, such as random forest or gradient boosting machines, and evaluate the model using metrics like precision, recall, F1 score, and the area under the precision recall curve for a thorough assessment.
Walk me through how you would approach a classification problem with an imbalanced dataset. Describe the bias-variance tradeoff and how it impacts model performance.
The bias-variance trade-off is fundamental to machine learning. Bias represents the error introduced by approximating a real-world problem with a simplified model. High bias means the model is too simple and fails to capture underlying patterns. Variance represents the model's sensitivity to small fluctuations in the training dataset. High variance indicates the model is overfitting, capturing noise instead of genuine patterns. The goal is to find a sweet spot where the model is complex enough to capture meaningful patterns, but not so complex that it overfits the training data. Techniques like regularization, cross-validation, and ensemble methods help manage this trade-off.
Describe the bias-variance trade-off and how it impacts model performance. Do you have any questions for me about the role or our organization?
Yes, I'm curious about Tech Innovate's approach to integrating AI and machine learning across different business units and how the data science team collaborates with other departments to drive strategic insights.
Do you have any questions for me about the role or our organization?